Richard, you got a space heater around your feet or anything?
I'm here. For anybody, no, nobody's here yet, but I am recording live here. Thankfully, it works tonight. We're starting out early. It's 1 minute till start time. Surprised nobody's in there yet. Everybody's busy. Busy. There. Got my lighting crew working.
KG4 MIC KM4YRF.
Got my lighting crew cooking.
Go ahead. That was the simplest thing I've ever done. I just happened to look down, just flip one more page, and there it was. And it was just so simple.
I'm glad you got it. It's that time. I'm going to get on the side KG4 myself.
Yes, I'm going to start the net here, Charles, so get out. I love doing that. All right, is the frequency in use by normal people. Very good. Good evening. My name is Paul, K4PEW, Mount Net Control for the Mount Juliet Simplex Radio Net. Is there any emergency or priority traffic? Nope. Okay, if there is any, call 911 if you really have an emergency. Otherwise, you can ask us for help in some way, but I can't imagine what that is because in all the years in ham radio, I've never heard priority traffic. Well, maybe once. At any rate, you can do that anytime. Just say break or hey, help me. Anyway, you can see us on the web at 146415.net, 146415.net, or you can look us up on Yahoo Groups under MJ_SS, or you can call or send me an email at k4pew@arrl.net. And of course, we're here every Wednesday and Saturday at 8 p.m. or 2000 hours, as they say in some circles. We conduct the net on 146.415 FM Simplex. The purpose of the net is to support and train ham radio operators to have fun. I guess that's what we do. Have fun, and hopefully everybody improves their stations as a result of it. I mean, we've seen quite a bit of evidence of that throughout all of our Simplextons on the net. We invite everyone to use the net to announce amateur radio events and activities, and if it's support of the community. And it's a directed net, and all traffic should be coordinated by Net Control, who is me, or moi, as they say in France. Do we have any announcements other than my routine ones? May need some fill. Hey, Richard, if you're still there, does that thing start on Saturday in Franklin for that the prep for the exams, or and do you have to have pre-admission, and does it cost money?
You can go to the club's website, which is WCARES.com, and register for the class, and go from there. They'll send you a notification when they figure out how many they've got in the class, whether you got in too late or not. I haven't got that confirmation yet myself, but they did receive it. I do know that. But yeah, go to the website and there's a register for the class page there.
All right, very good. Franklin down there in Williamson County is having a 4-week Saturday morning classes for it's for I guess all 3 levels, is it not, Richard? For technician, general, and or extra. You.
I'm not sure if they're doing extra. They did last year. They're definitely doing technician and general, and it's free. You can sign up, or you can just walk in. They have space available. There's no charge, and it's a great class.
Yeah, I hear it's real good. Anyway, if you'll go to the website for the Williamson County amateur radio group down there, it's WCARES.com. Wilson is WC. That's Whiskey Charlie Alpha Romeo Echo Sierra simplex.com, and you can register for their class, although they will take walk-ins, but you're going to have to look up the address on the Williamson County website, that website I just gave you. If you have any questions, jump in and ask me, or look them up on the web. Just look up WCARES in Franklin.
KB4 SFM.
Hey, Tom.
Yeah, announcement.
Yeah, go ahead.
Wilson Amateur Radio Club meeting this Saturday night, February 2nd, 6 o'clock, room 122 at Lamprey Hall, Cumberland University. Everybody's welcome. So it's this Saturday night, 6 o'clock, room 122, Lamprey Hall, Cumberland University, KB4 SFM.
Yeah, very good, Tom. And of course, Tom's giving us an announcement there for the Wilson County Amateur Radio Club. That's Wilson County Amateur Radio Club, which is meeting this Saturday. That's the day after tomorrow, Groundhog Day, room 122 in Lamprey Hall. And that's on Cumberland University campus, 6 p.m., no cover, no minimum. And it is ladies' night. Anything else for announcements? Of course, Tom forgot to mention, because he knew I would, we got the Wilson County Amateur Radio Club's net tomorrow night at 8 p.m., and that's on 147.105 and a plus offset and a 156.7 PL. Be sure to try to make that. It's a good net. And it's 8 p.m. tomorrow night. I'll try to send out a reminder on that. Any other announcements or clarifications, subtractions, or divisions?
K4 IDC.
Yes, Robin.
2019 M Towers Tullahoma Hamfest, March 9th.
All right. The Tullahoma, it's just a one-day event?
That's correct.
Tullahoma Hamfest. It's the 3rd of March, 2019. That's just coming up here. That's, my gosh. Oh, no, that's a month from now. Yeah, it's a whole month and a day or so. So that's 2019, the 3rd of March for Tullahoma.
March 9th.
Oh, I don't know why I put down the 3rd. I guess it's the 3rd month. March 9th. All right, thanks for that correction. All right, very good. March 9th. In fact, erase what you wrote down. It's March 9th, Tullahoma. That is this year. And I think they have a website for that, do they?
Yes. QSL.net /MTARS.
Of course, they should be able to just look up MTARS, Tennessee, couldn't
Yep.
they? All right, I'm sure they can find it. All right, I take it you're going to sell your wares, are you?
Well, I have a table reserved. We'll see what ends up on it.
All right. Could be tacos.
It could be bacon.
Oh, bacon it always sell. All right, very good. Any other announcements, clarifications, additions, or whatever? All righty. For everybody who's looking on the web, my bat signal was back up on the platform here. And what else? No, that's it. Just that. And we need to get rolling. Today is Wednesday, so this is the Wednesday night edition. And looking forward to check-ins. And we're starting from the south tonight, south of 40. Please come now.
Kilo Mike 4, November Yankee, Bell, Murfreesboro.
Hey, Bill, you sound pretty good. You doing all right?
Doing just terrific.
Yeah, well, terrific. And I'm looking at the thermometer on my digital sensor out on the porch, and it says 16 degrees. So I ain't going outside soon.
I'm looking at mine in the house, and it looks very sufficient.
Oh, yeah, mine does too. It's over 70 degrees here in the shack. And I keep it kind of cool in here. It's the only thing heating it is the rigs.
Yeah, well, it's cold out there for everybody, so I better let you get to them so they can get warm. We'll see them, Paul.
Yeah, very good, Bill. Thanks for checking in. That was Bill in Murfreesboro. That's Kilo Mike 4, November Yankee. Great signal. Hope to hear you Saturday night if you're there. Who else we got south of 40? People sleeping down there. Who else south of 40?
K4 OFO.
Hey, Donnie. I was wondering. Just before you checked in, I was looking at the meter on the screen here, and I realized it wasn't moving even when I was talking. I realized it wasn't plugged in.
Well, I wasn't sure I was connected. I'm trying to change all my equipment around, set it up a little neater. I just now got plugged in. I heard you on there, so I thought I'd better go ahead and check in. I don't really have anything for the net, but good to hear what few I've heard on there.
Yeah, very good, Donnie. Yeah, listen, don't straighten up anything. You set a bad precedent for the rest of us.
Yeah, but I get yelled at a lot if I don't.
Yeah, it's that ham nesting instinct.
We'll make it, though. Thank you. Good to hear from you.
All right, very good. As long as you remember how to connect up everything when you're done, that's the only thing that really matters. All right, that's Donnie. He's in Hermitage, just about 6 miles south of me. That's Kilo 4 Oscar Foxtrot Oscar. Great signal, Donnie. Yeah, get a picture of the shack when you're done, and we'll post it if it looks nice and pretty. Who else south of 40? Please come now.
Kilo Echo 4 Sierra Yankee Victor.
Hey, Larry, you sounded pretty good. I'm hearing a little bit of fuzz on your signal, but I don't know why. You're normally not that fuzzy.
I don't know, maybe it's just the cold weather.
No, it's just a little bit of a. I don't know. I've got to think how I'd say that. It's just a little bit. It's not. You're normally doesn't. It's not there, so there must be some atmospheric conditions.
Yeah, that's what I said. Maybe it's just the weather. We'll let you get on with it. KE4SYV.
Yeah, very good, Larry. And it was Kilo Echo 4 Sierra Yankee Victor, and he's in Rockvale. Larry, great signal. Who else out of the 40? Anybody else south of 40? Normally that's a big pattern down there, but I'm not hearing much. Well, they probably got up or stayed up, went to bed too early. Anybody else south of the 40?
K4IDC.
Hey, there you go. I was going to tell you. Nothing. You doing all right?
All good. Still seeing how this new antenna plays. You're 40 over.
Well, yeah. Between you and me, it's a mutual admiration society. You got a great signal, even when you were using that. Well, I don't want to say it was great with the Ed Fong, but it was decent. Now, again, every antenna, regardless, has if it's a normal design, it has a purpose. And obviously, if you're buying an antenna with a 1.1 gain, you're not really intending to do any DX work.
How about plus or minus 3 dB?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they ought to have a label on them that says "not guaranteed to hit any repeater."
Yeah. All right, carry on.
Yeah, I get a kick. If you look on QRZ and you look in the forums, I'm sure it's on other forums as well, and it has the ratings on different antennas, and how people put in their little comments about certain antennas. Almost every single one will tell you, I'm hitting repeaters farther away than I ever used to.
Maybe you ought to start the battery on your HT.
It's like, I don't think that's the goal here, man. To talk to a repeater. I mean, it's nothing wrong with it. It always sounds silly to me that why would you want to talk to a repeater in Louisville if you're not talking to anybody in town? I mean, what's the deal with that?
DX, man.
I know. Yeah, but do repeaters send out QSO cards?
Hardly.
That's what I'm getting at. So what's the point? Maybe that's what we ought to have is repeat, a contest in ARRL for worked all repeaters within 150 miles.
Yeah, that's what we need. Another war.
Yeah, that's right. Well, see, that would just force everybody to get repeaters up higher than they are now.
Oh, sacrilege.
You know what I'm saying? Just I find some of the contests. I told you there was a contest that included D-Star QSOs.
Really?
Yeah, it was D-Star over the internet QSOs.
Is your internet working? Okay.
Hey, yeah, excellent IP address you have there.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
I just thought it was funny. I mean, hey, if somebody's having fun with it, I'm good, but don't expect me to participate. I'm going to do Echo Link contest. That's what we're doing. Most number of Echo Link nodes in one day. All right. And, all right. Who else? I'm going to get a better high-speed internet access. That'll get me rolling. All right. Who else we got south of 40, Robin? Appreciate you checking in as Kilo 4, Indy Delta Charlie, and he's also in Hermitage, 6 point something miles south of me. Who else is out there south of 40?
K1SPD.
Another pregnant pause. How you doing there?
Doing wonderful. Just trying to plug up a hole where my feed lines are coming through because it's kind of drafty.
Oh, yeah, I bet. What'd you do? Just knock a hole in the wall with a sledge?
Yeah, pretty much. About the size of an outlet.
Okay. Yeah, it's important to kind of seal up those holes. Can you imagine how bad it is in a place like Minneapolis if you tried to do that?
I'm not even going to think that because it just sucks to be done.
Oh, yeah, it does. No question. Or Minnetonka, or, well, it's also up there, but like Manitowoc, or even I understand, I'm trying to, some other areas that were even cold. Chicago got it pretty bad.
I'll just ditto what I just said.
Yeah. Well, it's like my dad, who lived in my hometown of Niagara Falls his whole life. He lived in it within 20 miles of where he grew up. And he says, "No, I don't want to move south," because I lived in the South for forever. And he goes, "I'd miss all the changing seasons, and the challenge of getting out in bad weather." Yeah, it was a challenge. All right.
That's a challenge I'm not up to. Oh, well, people live where they want to by choice mostly. And I'll choose not to. All right, carry on. K1SPD.
Yeah, very good, Scott. That's Scott in Laverne, Kilo 1 Sierra Papa Delta. And great signal as always, Scott. Who else we got south of 40? Anybody, we'll come back to you, but anybody south of 40, please come in. All right, let's move up to the east then, east of Mount Juliet Road. Please come in.
WA4ZHI. Bravo.
He beat you again, Richard. Sorry. Go ahead, Jim.
Hello, how's everybody doing tonight?
I think everybody's doing fine if they're sitting inside and not outside, sitting in the car freezing with trying to talk on the radio.
It's a good place to be. Inside.
Oh yeah, no, the ones I struggle with is the guys who have to work outside in construction jobs or utilities, roofers. Ugh.
All I had to do is put the trash cans out on the street today.
Well, you were up in Chicago for a couple of years, so you must have experienced some of that nice cold weather up there.
Oh, but I don't miss it.
Oh, I'm sure you do. All right, well, very good, James. Sound good. That's James, Whiskey Alpha 4 Zulu Hotel India, who learned that Chicago is not the place he wants to live. And he's here in Mount Juliet, just east of the library. Great signal as always, James. Who else we got? Oh, Richard. There you are. Richard, go ahead.
Good evening, folks. KI4SIB. Hope everybody's staying warm and not freezing their panties off out in this mess. Just let everybody know if they can hear this sweet thing. I start my general class this Saturday. Wish me well, I hope, and I'm going to see if I can't catch up with some of you guys. Have a great night, and we'll talk to you when we can. Thank you for what you do, Paul. KI4SIB back to net.
See, what happens is when you upgrade to general, HRO allows you to buy an upgraded antenna.
You do what now?
When you upgrade your license, then you're authorized to buy a better antenna.
Yeah. Okay, doke. Thank you.
All right, Richard. Yeah, really, I hope you do well on it. And in the interim, obviously, if you have questions, obviously, there's loads of people here you can talk to about issues, in between your classes that are on every Saturday morning.
Well, I may be hollering at some folks wanting some help, so we'll see how it goes.
All right, very good. That was Richard, Kilo India 4 Sierra India Bravo, and he's over in Lebanon. Great signal, and yeah, you really do tonight. It's just fine. Do you hear any more of that noise on my transmission?
I've still got a truckload of noise on your transmission. Yes.
Probably the next door neighbor with a blow dryer or a foot vibrator or something.
Somebody's got something going on.
All right, very good. Who else? E, thanks for being there. By the way, that's Richard, Kilo India 4 Sierra India Bravo. Who else we got east of 40? Or east of 40? East of Mount Juliet Road?
KG4 in my seat.
Yeah, east of 40, I think, is the Atlantic Ocean, isn't it?
Yeah, it would be. What's going on, Mr. Paul?
Well, thankfully, I'm not shoveling snow or scraping ice or scraping, getting ice off the car windows. That's the good part.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Glad that ain't happening too. But man, talking about that weather up north of us, that's dangerous stuff there. That's really some serious stuff. Hey, you got to watch out for the elderly when you live in places like that, don't you?
Well, I told my mother, who, she spent 89 years of her life living up there in New York. And I told her, I said, the only people left in that area are the dumb ones.
Well,
Of course, she was up there for most of her life. So I tried to explain to her that she was the exception to the rule.
there you go. Richard, good luck with that test you're going to be taking. Yeah, shoot, there's a bunch of people out here that know what you need to know. So, all right, well, Paul, I'll let you go. Everybody on the net, have a good evening, and we'll be sitting here monitoring.
Yeah, very good. Good to have you in there, Kevin. That's Kevin KG4. That's Kilo Golf 4. Mike India Zulu. He's in Lebanon as well, just west of downtown. Anybody else? Good to have you in there, Kevin. Who else is he's Chicken Man, if anybody remembers that program. Who else east of Mount Juliet? Please come in.
W9BOQ. Whiskey Delta 4.
Hey, hold on, Jeff. The Whiskey 9 BOQ. What's up, Dennis?
Hey, it's nice outside. I was putting together my tower today.
Were you putting it together in the barn or out in the grass?
No, out in the grass. It was cold though. My hands are, I was putting bolts in the in the sections, and man, my hands are freezing.
Yeah, was it breezy up there?
Yeah, it was pretty windy. Anyway, I was having a ride. So hey, I was looking at some temperatures here, and that's pretty interesting. So it's 18 here. It's 0 in Indianapolis. It's 16 below in Chicago. It's 19 below in Minnesota, in St. Paul, Minneapolis. And in the great city of International Falls, Minnesota, it's 33 degrees below zero without wind chill.
Yeah, that's pretty cold stuff. How many was it below zero in International Falls?
33 below. I think they fudge their temperatures because they're known as the coldest spot in the United States. But anyway, it is cold. But I got to tell you something funny. I always brag, or not brag, but I would talk about when I was a kid, they would never call it school. I mean, we'd get 6 inches of school in Wisconsin, 6 inches of snow in Wisconsin. They wouldn't call it school, and it could get down to 20 below, and they wouldn't call it school. And after after many years of telling that story, I had to go check to make sure I was correct. So I went to the Manitowoc Public School website about their closings, and they said they consider calling off school if it gets below 25 below. I just thought that was funny.
No, that is funny. 25 below is car engine blocks freeze up at that kind of temperature.
Yep. Well, anyway, Robin got me my tower, and I can't wait to get it up. Once I got it all bolted together, it is rigid. I mean, it doesn't. I could pick up one end, and there's no sway in it at all.
That's great. By the way, you're just for comparison, when you get that thing up there, right now you're about 10 over S9.
Yeah, you usually say I'm about 9 or 10. Oh, I'm 10 over, or I'm 9.
No, you're 10 over tonight.
Wow, the conditions are good then. Anyway, good evening to everybody, and I'll turn it back over to you, Paul. Thank you for the net, W9BOQ.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, we only use those temperatures up there in the upper parts of the country to just feel good about ourselves. It's like Scott just said, it sucks to be them. Because going out in that weather really does stink. I know I used to have to. Now, we didn't have most of the time where I lived, didn't get down that cold. I mean, it got below zero once in a while. But even so, when I went to work or to school downtown, I had to take a bus, didn't have a car, and it was walking up to the bus stop, and if somebody hadn't, cleaned the sidewalks, you had to walk in the street, no big thing. And then you'd walk up to the bus stop and stand out, and no relief on the bus stop because there was no bus stop, container of any kind. And anyway, it was a little bit cold, but that's what you live in. That's what you're used to. It doesn't really bother you too much, as you know. But then you and I live in Tennessee now, so we don't have to put up with that. All right, that was Jeff Whiskey. I'm sorry, that was Dennis Whiskey 9 Bravo Oscar Quebec. It was Jeff who's up next, and Dennis is in Castellian Springs. Good signal tonight. Like I said, you're 10 over. You can look at it on the screen if you want to later. That was about 24 minutes after the hour. And that's next up is Jeff Whiskey Delta 4 Bravo Whiskey Charlie.
WD4BWC. How are you tonight?
Nice and warm and toast. In fact, I'm sitting here in spite of the long sleeve shirt I'm wearing here. I'm in flip flops because I'm very comfortable inside the house and I don't dare go outside in the flip flops.
Definitely not. Yeah, stay warm for sure.
Yeah, it doesn't bother. Well, you lived in that northern climate for half your life at least.
Yeah, that's true. And then I went south.
Yeah, you went south, way south, like I did. You were farther south than me down there in the Gold Coast.
Yeah, that's true. It was the Gold Coast. It was pricey.
That's what they mean by Gold Coast, I think. Well, it is pretty pricey down there, right? It's well, I was telling somebody the other day down in Miami Beach when I lived there in '99 in Miami Beach. They were building condos there on the beach. Well, along that strip there, and they were selling unfinished for $1 million then.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah, it's nice if you can afford them. My gosh. All right, very good, Jeff. And that's Jeff, Whiskey Delta 4 Bravo Whiskey Charlie, and he's over in Lebanon as well. Good to have you in there, Jeff, and your signal's real good. Which rig you running tonight?
I'm running the mobile tonight at low power.
Okay, very good. Yeah, it's a good signal. All righty. Well, thanks for being there. That was Jeff, Whiskey Delta 4 Bravo Whiskey Charlie, and he's in Lebanon. Who else we got east of Mount Juliet?
KE4TWI.
Hey, Wes. How do you find the signals tonight from your remote location?
A little bit better than normal. It is kind of a noisy night. That typically happens when it's dry.
Yeah, no, I noticed that on your signal as well. It's got a little bit of snap, crackle, pop on it that's not normally there. And I noticed the same thing on Larry's over there in Rockville. There was a similar kind of noise in there, but the audio was very good.
Yeah, it sounds fine. You've got some similar on yours. Go ahead, KE4TWI.
All right, very good. That's Wes down near Watertown. That's Kilo Echo 4 Tango Whiskey India. And appreciate you being in there, Wes. Who else is east of Mount Juliet? We'll move up to the north of Division Street, north of Lebanon Road. Please come now. Anybody north? I heard Charles in there earlier. Charles, you in there? I don't know where you are right now. Oh, you said you were in Antioch, but it's too late. But you can check in on right now. I can barely copy you now. You're a little rough. Yeah, I wasn't. The only thing I really copied well was you just coming back up from Florida. I take it, but glad you could make it in there mobile. Hope to catch you a little later. Hope you did well and it was a safe trip. And that's Charles, and I believe he's coming up from the south mobile. Kilo Golf 4 Sierra Foxtrot. Very good, Charles. I'm glad you're able to check in. All right. Who else we got? Where was I? North of Mount Juliet. Please come in.
KV9RKK.
So now there's a nice quiet signal. You sound good tonight, Frank.
Yeah, I think for the most part everybody does, but the one that I will comment about is Robin's signal. I guess the antenna is different. Is at S9, and normally he was not even registered or barely one S unit.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, he was very low for those. Well, I had him fine. That was because he's only 6 miles south of me. But and you have, I'll just say, less than an ideal antenna. But you getting him? Where'd you say he was on the scale?
Solid S9, solid, no bacon, nothing. I mean, he sounds local. I mean, you're 20 over to me. You should be. It's weird. I don't know. Maybe the meter's stingy, but because I can hear you without a coax most of the time. But just in comparison, if you're 20, 30, you're about 30 over, and he's giving me S9, and before he wasn't, I was barely registering anything. So it's definitely better, but I also think conditions are better because I'm hearing everybody better than I normally do, at least to my position.
Yeah. Well, Robin did two things. One, he went to a better antenna, and he raised it up higher. So he got the benefit of both those things.
Yeah, well, height makes might, that's for sure. And I mean, I'm not super high, but that's the only reason I'm able to do what I can do with this little, indoor antenna.
Yeah, very good. And you sound good tonight too, Frank. And that's Frank, Kilo Bravo 9, Romeo Kilo Kilo. Great signal out of Northwest Wilson County. Anybody else north of Mount Juliet? Ooh, rough copy. Anybody copy him? Because I heard it, but I couldn't tell what he was saying.
Do it again. Kilo Charlie 2, Lima Foxtrot Tango, Paul.
Okay. I did catch most of that, but Kilo Charlie 2, Lima Foxtrot Tango. What's the first name? I don't think I know. I know it, but I don't have it in front of my mind here. All right. You said that's Rich. Did I copy that correctly? Rich, and where was that?
Hartsville.
Oh, Hartsville. Yes, that's why I remember that. Yeah, you're a little rough copying to me, and I mean other people can. You're copying him pretty good out of Hartsville. You must have a better path than I do, Robin.
Yeah, well, what's this? Me relaying for you?
No, you're relaying for Rich. It's funny though because that I am not able to. It's just barely. If I was wearing headphones, it might be better. But Rich, I appreciate you checking in. Conditions were pretty good for you to make it in here. What antenna are you using now? The infamous J-pole. Yeah, man. I hope at some point you could get that upgraded because the J-pole has so little gain as to make it just convenient. But it's, man, you're with a signal like you have that. For me to hear it now is good. It's very rough, I got to say. You're barely bumping, not even bumping the meter here. But an upgraded antenna would do you a world of good. But appreciate you checking in. Yeah, very good. In fact, that transmission was a little better there, Rich. And it was Rich Kilo Charlie 2 Lima Foxtrot Tango, and he's up in Hartsville. Not too many. I don't talk to too many people out of Hartsville, at least on this net. You're one of them. I know I've had another one in there, but appreciate you being there, Rich. Who else north of Lebanon Road, north of Mount Juliet? Hey, Steve, our first and only interstate or out of state QSO. How you doing tonight, Steve?
Hanging in there, trying to stay warm.
What's it supposed to come down to tonight for you? It's got to be below 15.
It's 12 right now.
Oh, okay. See, I'm at 17 at the house, and so yeah, you're 5 degrees. Well, almost 12. Yeah, it's 5 degrees cooler, so I don't think I'd notice the difference. It's still cold outside.
Yeah, my plan is staying
Yeah, that's a good plan. Just be glad you're not out, working in a strip mine or sawing logs or out breaking rock outside.
No, I'll save that for the convicts.
I think all the convicts now do is pick up trash on the roads. And that would be pretty cold, too.
Yeah, it would be.
All right, very good. We got Steve in there, and he's from just a little bit north of Bowling Green in Kentucky. And that's Kilo 4 Whiskey Kilo Uniform. Yeah, I got that right. That's Kilo 4 Whiskey Kilo Uniform, Steve up in near Bowling Green. Who else we got north of Mount Juliet? All right, west of Mount Juliet, west of Wilson County, west of 171 or Mount Juliet Road.
KM4YRF.
Hey, Michael. So you got struggled through another radio change, huh?
I did. I finally figured it out. I was happy about that part.
Yeah, Kevin was telling us how smart that chicken was recently, and I understand she can program radios herself.
I wonder how much she costs.
I understand it's just chicken feed.
That's great. Well, listen, I want to tell you that I will not be at the breakfast either because I'm going to be in the Williamson County at the school there. My brother's taking the class for his technician's license, and I'm going to audit the class.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Yep. No, I'm glad they do that. I understand they put together a good program, so I'm glad they do that. Not every club has the ability. The bigger clubs can do it, and I understand they're pretty big.
Yeah, they are. They have a marvelous facility.
Now, is that the county's facility or is that theirs?
No, it's the county's, I think.
Yeah. Did you ever look at if you went to the Huntsville Amateur Radio Club's website?
I have not.
Take a gander, man, and look up. I think it has a member list, and it's got a regular. I don't know why they did it. I wouldn't do it that way, but it has a members list and it has all their email addresses, and I think there's in excess of 200. It might even be more than that. I mean, it might be more than 250 on their members list.
Wow, that's awesome.
Well, it is Huntsville and NASA and the Arsenal and whatever else they got going down there.
Well, that's true. So I imagine they got a good group of people to pick from.
Yeah, and apparently they do a good job because they put on one of the bigger ham events of the year in the whole country. I mean, they would, as far as I could see, they almost rivaled Orlando.
Wow, that's awesome.
Well, Orlando, at least the Huntsville one is in one building. In Orlando, it's in like 3 or 4 odd buildings, and it's just kind of a pain.
Yeah, I think this is in the public safety building there in Franklin. It's a little bit hard to find if you don't know exactly where it is, but once you know, it's easy.
Yeah, very good. And anybody who's going there, you don't have to worry about having ID for the training, but you do need picture ID for to take the test, which it will be in 4 weeks. Was it on the 4th week is when they're doing the test?
I think the class is actually 5 weeks. It goes through, I think, the first Saturday in March, and then I believe that the test is in the Creve Hall on the next Saturday.
Okay. Well, anyway, for anybody who's looking to take the test, you have to have positive identification and no fingerprints, just picture ID, and you're all set. Anybody else? I appreciate you being there, Michael. That's Kilo Mike 4 Yankee Romeo Foxtrot. He's in Bellshire. Anybody else north of Mount Juliet?
Katie 4 OEN, Kilo Delta 4 Oscar Echo November Mary. Good evening, Paul and the rest of the gang. It's good to hear everybody. Sorry we missed out on Saturday night. We always just miss being here. We miss hearing everybody checking in. So glad we're back tonight, and hope everybody can stay warm.
Oh yeah. Is your better, well, your worst half? I'll say it's the worst half there tonight.
He is here. He's sitting right here, and I will pass the mic over to him in just a second. Hope all of you have a good evening, and we'll look forward to the next net. Katie 4 OE in clear, and over to Marty.
Very good. And Mary, just like I said, I've said many times over the last 4+ years, is that we're the only net I know of in the country that gives hams 2 times a week to miss the net.
This is Marty, KD4 BQK, and I'm in Bellshire.
Yeah, very good, Marty. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, doing well.
Yeah, you got a good signal. You sound great.
Thank you.
Yeah, full scale. Of course, it's full scale on both you and Mary, but using the same radio. But no, it sounds great tonight. Well, very good. We had 2 from the same household. That's Mary, Kilo Delta 4 Charlie Echo November, and Marty, Kilo Delta 4 Bravo Quebec Kilo in Bellshire. Excuse me, beautiful Bellshire. Who else? Appreciate you both being there. And yeah, you can't make every net. There's no expectation that everybody will make every net except for me. Even that, I haven't made them all. All right, who else north of or west of Mount Juliet? Please come in.
Whiskey Alpha 4 Victor Golf Zulu. Good evening, Paul.
Hey, Jim. Haven't heard from you in a while. How are you and Kathy doing?
Hey, just fine. Congratulations. You got the name right this time. Hi. No, we're doing fine here. Just trying to stay warm. Just looked at the phone, and we got about 18 degrees over here in the Donaldson area. Just been reading the mail on you, and as usual, you have a wonderful signal.
Oh, good. Well, you're doing fine as well. Of course, again, from Donaldson or Hermitage or even Nashville, I'm pretty good almost everywhere until you start getting behind buildings or going through the walls of, the expressway there.
Yep, real fine there. Yeah, hey, I noticed I was able to get to the Wilson County repeater. Had to use 50 watts, but I could wake it up last few days.
Yeah, apparently it is functional. I haven't used it recently. I wasn't in on the net last week, but apparently they're having some antenna and or interference problems at the repeater site.
Yeah, Roger, something definitely happened the last few months. I was able to get into it fine when Michael was running the Fusion net after the regular net, and then couldn't get in at all. But lately I've been able to wake it up, so I'll have to try the net tomorrow night. Okay, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I got one more here in the household, and I know she wants to check in. So back to you. WA4V GZ.
Very good. Thanks, Jim. Who's there? Kathy?
Whiskey 4, Charlie Mike Golf. Good evening, Paul.
Hey, good evening. You guys just check in periodically. Keep your names on the list, eh? Take
Well, it's been a little busy here. I'm doing CW Academy, and when I'm not in the class, then I wind up working with my CW buddy to get some practice in. So it's been a little hectic, and of course, usually winds up Monday and Thursday night. A little extra practice there too. Whiskey 4, Charlie Mike Golf. Back to net.
Yeah, very good, Kathy. Yeah, it was no admonition. We don't have any rules about checking in or attending breakfast, but we'd love to have you there. And yeah, good luck with that CW Academy. Is that through the? Oh gosh, I forgot the name of the group that does that.
Yes, through CW Ops, and you have to register for the class. I got lucky; I was able to get in the first time I applied, but there are times when it's almost a year before you can get in. So I just grabbed the opportunity when I had the chance. And it's 2 months, 16 classes, twice a week. So it's really worthwhile. I went from not really feeling comfortable to now I have a little bit less discomfort, and it got us up to about 20, 23 words a minute.
Oh, is that right? That's awesome. 20 to 23. That's great.
Well, it's awesome. It's awesome when you're in class and practicing. I don't know. I still got that little bit of finger fright, so we'll see what happens.
Oh yeah, I've had some difficulties, and I need to get back into it. If I could, I don't know if I could take the pressure of being in an academy though. That's pretty sharp stuff.
Now, this guy's really good. He gives you homework assignments, and as long as you do them, it's not bad. The classes are about 5 people per one instructor, and he has everybody take a turn, and he'll send you code, and you listen to it and tell him what you heard. A little bit different from listening to the ARRL files. They actually have us starting out listening to the states at 20 words a minute and being comfortable with those.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I've heard that that is the best way rather than starting at low levels. You start out right at 20 because you get stuck in the lower levels rather than moving your way up quickly.
Yeah, well, I'm really looking forward to it. He's bumping us up to 25 this week, so I've been doing a little bit of practice with that. But it's a bit more of a challenge in some ways. In some ways, it's easier once you get the pattern.
Oh, yeah, using straight key or what?
No, we use paddles, and actually it's a requirement that you use the paddles. I can't do straight key because my wrist will fall off after about 3 minutes.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, paddles do make it a lot easier.
Yeah, they do, and I've got the wind keyer too that I'm going to hook up to the computer and see if that'll help at all. But right now I'm using a touch paddle, and I've got a regular 10-tech paddle that I really like.
Oh, that's great. Now you make me want to go do that academy thing. Man, you're a terrible person.
Oh, you'll love it. And the instructor we have is named Mark, and he has just been phenomenal.
Yeah, that's good. Well, it's nice that there's people like him to do those kind of things because that takes real dedication.
Yeah, he actually assigns a CW buddy to everybody, somebody who's already been through his class. And I was very lucky. I got a YL that's up in Wisconsin, and we talk probably 3 times a week when I don't have class, and she'll send code or I'll try to send some, and we just, I'm learning from her, and she'll say, oh, you're having trouble with the D's tonight, and so I'll grab a file and load it on a Rusty and start practicing D's until I get those right. Last week it was L's, now it's D's.
Well, it sounds like you're headed on the right path to getting up to about 50.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a long time before I do that. But, hey, you got to start somewhere.
Well, just think about how difficult the English language is, and you mastered that within just a few years.
Yeah, it only took me over 60 years to figure the English out.
And I'm still working on it.
Yeah, they got me in a remedial class. All right, very good, Kathy, and I appreciate all you do for the ARRL section, and appreciate having you and Jim on the air tonight. And that was Whiskey Alpha for Victor Golf Zulu, Jim, and Kathy, his YL, Whiskey for Charlie Mike Golf. Appreciate you guys being there. Who else we got west of Mount Juliet? Anybody else west of Mount Juliet?
Whiskey 4, Alpha Whiskey Echo.
Hey, John. You doing well? And have you noticed any difference in signals tonight, or noise or no noise?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Hope you're doing the same. Yeah, everything seems more staticky, and, maybe that's just because if you step outside, everything is more staticky.
Yeah, well, I still say it's the Russians trying to jam us.
One never knows. I remember the old days back in, shortwave listening when I was a kid, where they had those huge sawtooth-sounding Russian jamming stations.
Yeah, I wasn't familiar with that, but it reminded me when you said that. When we were in we were off the coast of North Vietnam when I was in that area. We had a Russian trawler that would constantly tail the details that were up north of the DMZ, and they would jam us. But their jamming, it was like amateur radio jamming. It was nothing. We could still talk.
Yeah, the infamous Russian trawlers, they had so many antennas on them that in a gale they would almost start to keel over.
I think so. But we used to laugh about it because it was like, that's the best they can do?
Yeah, that old buzzsaw thing. In fact, I've read something, might have been in an ARRL email newsletter about some parts of Eastern Europe are experiencing that again. It's just like huge 100-megawatt signals that sound like a buzzsaw.
Is that supposed to be that over-the-horizon radar stuff?
Some of it is over the horizon radar, but it's got a more, it's not quite as loud. The old classic sort of Russian buzzsaw was an AM modulated, whereas the radar has always been sort of a constant problem on the edge of some ham bands. It's a little more digital sounding, but still sort of clicky,
Huh. Yeah, we experienced some of that when I was down in Tampa. We had MacDill Air Force Base, and I'm not sure what radars they had because it was a big, fairly big air base, but we could tell when they were lit off on certain ones, and we didn't know which ones it was, but you'd hear it spin, circling around every time it passed by us. You could hear the wow, that radar sound.
Yeah, that and down around Eglin also. Sometimes they'd be testing things that all of a sudden, you'd look at if you got an old-fashioned magnetic compass on your dashboard, it'd be spinning.
Well, I looked it up, and I didn't even know it when I was on board a Navy ship, but we were running normal air search radars were running 50 kW.
Yeah, and they use nowadays such an incredible range of frequencies, and not just radar, but they're doing frequency hopping mixed in with it. It's sort of it's pretty wild that it doesn't interfere more.
Well, they know more about that than I do, because I don't know how they could possibly manage all that RF and all of that other communication gear, not to mention all of the the data stuff inside current airplanes, military airplanes and military ships.
Yeah, exactly. It's like encryption on top of encryption.
Yeah, I don't know how they manage it. I really don't. It's got to be, well, I'm sure it's sophisticated enough, because they seem to be pretty good at it. All right, very good, John. You sound good tonight. Which reminds me, I got to get back to you on that email you sent me. So I will talk to you later. Now it's John over in Bellevue, Whiskey 4 Alpha Whiskey Echo. Great signal as always. Anybody else west of Mount Juliet? All righty, we're taking late check-ins then.
N-A-T-T-Y.
Hey, Rusty, how are you doing this evening down there in Murfreesboro?
I'm doing well. We had our men's Bible study tonight at the church, and it went a little long, so I was a little bit late getting in here.
That's all right. No rules. We don't have any rules about when you check in or how you check in, or if you don't check in, just that we hope to hear you when you can. But yeah, you're doing all right down there. Well, you're maybe a little warmer than we are. I mean, it's still at 17.9 on my front porch.
Yeah, I think we may still be around 20, but it's probably headed south.
Yeah, I don't know if you didn't hear it earlier. I was talking to Steve on the air here he's just a little bit north of Bowling Green. He's at 12.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I heard you talking a little while ago about about telling your mom, that all the crazy people still live up in New York.
Now, it was all the smart ones left. Let's put it that way.
There you go. I like that. That does sound a little bit better.
Well, you might be familiar with those Rust Belt cities, but that's one of the oddities, is it the natural progression of what happened when industry moved, as the industry aged and got outclassed by whomever, whether in this country or out of this country. And like my hometown shrunk from 110,000 in 1960 something, 67. And it's now, the census says it's going to be about 45,000. So it's quite a drop, but it's been over the last 50 years. And it's been creeping down to 60 and 50 over the last 10 or 12. But you know what I'm saying is, and so the natural, where there's no work, people leave. They just have to.
Yeah, it's bad too, because the people who do stay, they wind up having to go up on everything from them. The cost of living just makes it even worse.
Oh yeah, and the taxes are worse, because then they need more money to support the same infrastructure, and it gets crazy.
Yep. Well, we're fortunate to live in Tennessee. I lived here now longer than I lived in my old hometown, so I guess I can say I'm a Tennessean now.
Yeah. Well, you're from Louisiana originally, right?
Mississippi.
I don't know. For some reason, we went to school in Louisiana, wasn't it?
No, I went to school in Mississippi too. Just an old Mississippi boy.
I don't know why I was thinking it was in Louisiana. Did your son go to school in Louisiana?
No, I may have mentioned before that I do love the food and the culture down there. If I could choose another ethnicity, it would probably be Cajun. But I've never actually lived there or gone to school there. Most of my family has either been Mississippi, Tennessee, or Arkansas.
Okay, very good. I don't know why I thought that. But anyway, yeah, Mississippi's, that's right. Because you were, didn't you, let me guess, it was Ole Miss?
Yes, sir. That's right.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm guessing there's only so many choices in Mississippi for big schools.
Yeah, that was the only one for me anyway.
Yeah, very good. Well, very good. I don't want to be you in a room full of people that love Tennessee and Vanderbilt and Alabama and Florida.
Well, I've got one son that is a big UT fan. The one that was born when we were in Mississippi still is an Ole Miss fan, and of course we got a pull for the Blue Raiders living in Murfreesboro. So divided loyalties, I guess.
It's all in fun anyway.
That's right. If you can't have fun, why do it? So I'll let you get on with it, and good to talk to you tonight. And maybe we'll catch you on the morning net sometime. So you have a great one. NAPPY.
Yeah, my schedule's been messed up, but I do hope to be there tomorrow morning. I should be there. All right, very good. That was Rusty in Murfreesboro on November 8th. Papa Yankee. Fine signal. Good job. Appreciate checking in late. Any other late check-ins?
WW4FM.
Hey, how are you? I haven't heard from you in a little while.
I'm not too bad. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm trying to remember your first name. Bear with me. I was looking it up to spare myself the embarrassment.
First name here is Bill. WW4FM Hartsville.
Yeah, very good. We had the call that I'm pretty sure you know him up there. The call that came in from Hartsville, the KC2 LFT.
Yes, sir. That's Mr. Rich.
Yeah, except his signal was really low compared to yours. Very, very noisy.
Right. Well, I don't know what kind of power he's pushing out there. I normally call you on my beam there, but I got my Omni back up in here, so that's what I'm calling you on that now.
Well, you had a real good, strong signal in there. You're doing great, Bill.
I appreciate that. Well, stay warm, my friend. I'll let you pick up some others. Appreciate you coming back to me. WW4FM 730s. Have a good one.
Yeah, very good. That was Whiskey for Foxtrot Mike, and he's in Hartsville. He was the second Hartsville station this evening. Good, great signal. Hope to hear you again. And on the Omni, no less, you were doing fantastic. All right, very good, Bill. Who else? Anybody else on late chicken? Anybody else? All right, then we're going to the lollygaggers, lurkers, sandbaggers, scanner listeners, SDR donglers, and there was another category I was going to add, but I forgot what it was. Oh, yeah, I was going to add preppers. That's what I was going to add. Preppers. Preppers are usually those who buy Bofang radios and then never get licensed. All righty. That might be the last of it. There was 24. And are there any other late check-ins? Lurkers, lollygaggers, sandbaggers, or whatever? Want to check in before we close on that?
K4QPR.
Good evening. How are you tonight?
Not too bad. Had a rough day at work, though.
If you worked outside, I'd say that is a rough day.
I work at a receiving door, so the door kept getting open all day long.
Oh, yeah, that would just stink. That would really. Yeah, I've seen that in other jobs, and I cannot. That's just awful because sometimes you're standing in relatively warm air, and other times you get the blast right in the face.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. So you still have to wear a jacket, so sometimes you're sweating and sometimes you ain't.
Yeah, that would be correct as well. The worst is the small trucks and the big truck door.
That's right. Well, do they have the things where it mates up with the vehicles on the receiving door? You know, that canvas, whatever they call it.
They're breaking down the, what do you call it, the plastic that acts like a spring to keep it tight. That's all falling on the ground, so not really.
Okay. Yeah. Man, you just pray for no windy days when it's like this.
And it didn't work today.
No, we got to take what we can get. I know that when I haven't had a real awful job in although I've been out in some awful conditions in my career down in Florida, but that was all heat related or storm related or rain related. But when I was younger and I worked construction, there were days when I had to work outside all day up in New England. It did not make for fun days. In fact, one of the fun days that it wasn't, I got all dressed up. I knew we were working outside. I knew it was 20 degrees out. I got, double socks and thermal underwear and heavy jeans and, t-shirt, shirt, sweater, and coat. And then I get to the job and they go, "We're working inside today."
It's very hard to strip.
No, I took off much as I could, but I left my thermal. I remember at the end of the night, man. I mean, the end of the day, I felt ridiculous, and I got home. I couldn't wait to get my thermal underwear off. The long johns.
That's what we called them. I've spent 14 years in Massachusetts.
Ah, okay. Well, that was up in Newport, Rhode Island.
Been there.
Oh yeah, no, great part of the country if you enjoy taxes.
Massachusetts is a good one.
Oh yeah, Rhode Island. When I left Rhode Island, I rented. I was renting a mobile home, and I left. And then I got a notice from Rhode Island after I left when I moved to Florida, and it said I owed taxes. It wasn't property taxes since I didn't own property. They had a personal property tax, so I had to pay taxes on my vehicle and on my furniture. And I wrote them back a letter, sent them the check for I don't know how much it was. Sent them a check, and I said I'm never going to live in Rhode Island ever.
I actually haven't lived there, so no, I haven't been shafted that bad. Just I know our tax rate was always high. K4 QPR.
Yeah, well, in a lot of states, the taxes you get the best politicians money can buy. I think that's the way you say that.
How do you buy a good politician? Come on now.
I think you have to go to the back door of a Walmart and buy them. They're up by the dumpster.
Is it the same store that sells, what is it, completely lossless feed line?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny how, especially those high tech states. I was going to tell Rusty, he's he's the one that lived in Mississippi, and it's good to live in Tennessee because there's no income tax. And my brother-in-law's property taxes for about the same value home, give or take a few grand, in near Buffalo, New York, which is not the center of the universe, believe me. But he lives in a nice community, but nothing special. His home was built in about 1970. He pays almost 4 times as much in property taxes as I do.
And does he get anything for it, or is it a negative return?
He does get snow removal, but it's hard to imagine snow removal costs $4 grand a year. For the streets, and what I'm saying, you still got to plow your own driveway and sidewalk.
I remember the plows going by and burying my dad's car so far, we had to shovel out before we could go to school.
Oh yeah, yeah. You love it. In fact, where I lived, you weren't allowed to park on the street for that reason. They didn't want to be burying vehicles. Well, Russ, good to have you in there. I didn't realize you lived up in Massachusetts. That's Russ. He is in Murfreesboro, I believe. Is it Laverne? Excuse me, Laverne, right?
That's correct.
Okay, very good. I did have it right. And that's Kilo 4 Quebec Papa Romeo and Laverne. Anybody else with late check-ins? Appreciate you being there, Russ. Sorry you had to work under such crazy conditions, though. That's it's good to make you sick, really. Anybody else with late check-ins at any time? Please come down. All righty, then we'll close down on that. We had a lot of good check-ins from all over. A couple of people we hadn't heard from in a while, which is always good to hear from everybody, really. It's just, like I said, it's not so important that we get big numbers. It's just important that those that can check in and want to do check in and can monitor what stations they can hear and can't hear. And maybe, I know a lot, like I've said many, many times, people, as a result of this net, have improved their stations, their feed line, their radios, and their antennas and the height of their antennas. And it's really nice to see. In fact, I've been one of the prime members who did that because I started out early with really crappy antennas, and now I've got a really good one. So I feel good about what I can do, and I see that other people doing the same thing. So that's very gratifying. And we did have 25 check-ins tonight. So appreciate all the check-ins, and I want to remind you again, we'll just go over there real quick, but Lamprey Hall, room 122 on Saturday. We also have that Tullahoma Ham Fest, which is on the 9th of March, and the MTARS. That's their website down there. I don't know the website name, but it's the MTARS in Tullahoma. And then, of course, the Williamson County training is going on over the next 4 weeks in Franklin, and you can look that up under the WCARES. It's Whiskey Charlie Alpha Romeo Echo Sierra.com to get the details on that, where they meet. And it's a free class for upgrading, either getting a new license as a technician or upgrading to general. So, and it might even be more, but I'm pretty sure, according to what somebody told me, that it's either technician or general. All righty, and good luck to those guys that are taking the test, or those people. I'm sure it's not just guys. All right, you guys have a great night. It's K4 PEW. We'll catch you hopefully on Saturday night. 73.
W4AWE, W9BOQ.